What's poppin', people? It's Dante, just getting my morning started here with some coffee. And I was looking through some old hard drives and found some footage from an old GoPro when I was in the Peace Corps. And I stumbled across this snapshot of my room inside my hut, and I decked it out with all sorts of gym equipment. And it had me thinking today about photography and the philosophy of physiology. When I saw this poster, it says strength. Yeah, I found this piece of trash on the side of the road and I put this up on my wall. I was building a basketball court in the village. That's why I have all these basketballs. I've got gymnastic rings, resistant bands. Actually, so these resistant bands I got from just like the side of the road. They have all these like pieces of rubber. And I remember they were used for wrapping things around bicycles, but I would use them as gym equipment and like stretch the rubber out and do some sort of like lateral exercises and things, which was really fun. But I remember when I arrived in the capital, finding like their Dick's Sporting Goods equivalent in Zambia and picking up dumbbells, barbells. I have gymnastic rings, all sorts of gym equipment, a yoga mat. And needless to say, yeah, this is the topic of the day, strength, vitality, and why this matters to me as a photographer. I mean, you can see even in the remote village in Zambia, I prioritized vitality. And yeah, these are some of the images I made while in Zambia. This one in particular is one of my favorites. Here's a photograph from a baptism, a photograph from a funeral. Here's a dynamic layered composition. Got some picture from, this is actually outside of my house that you just saw. And yeah, just figured we can talk about, yeah, strength, vitality, and why this matters in the context of photography. So I've always prioritized my physical body, my physical strength at the forefront throughout the past 10 years of my life. And throughout the past 10 years of my life, for a decade, I've been both weightlifting and practicing photography. It was when I turned 18 that I really started to hit the gym. And as you can see, my photos are all, they're all plastered around my gym here. And yeah, I've got the dumbbells, the plates, yeah, the whole home gym setup. Honestly, it's just way more efficient. And so just to cut to the point about this, I'm just trying to share that this isn't some like new thing. This has been a part of my process forever. And essentially, I mean, look, this philosophy and this idea isn't tried and true. This is something that I subscribe to and something that I believe in, and I'm just here to share it with you. So I believe that the stronger photographer will make stronger photographs. I think the stronger your body, the stronger your mind, the stronger your body and mind, the more joyous your spirit becomes, the more resilient you become, and the more capable you are of going out there onto the front lines of life each and every day to photograph and walk endlessly. When you think about it, the more that you lift weights, the more that you train your physical body, the stronger you become, the more you will walk, right? And the more that you walk, the more that you see. The more that you see, the more that you photograph. The more that you photograph, the more that you learn. And the more that you learn, well, the more curious you become, the more interested you are in going back out there again and again. And I find that through this process of cultivating vitality, we ultimately come to this end point, this end goal of increasing your curiosity. So there is this very interesting correlation between vitality and curiosity. I think the stronger we become physically, the more capable we are physically, the more curious we become. Without a strong body, you will not have a strong mind. And I think that these connections between the mind and the body are overlooked as photographers, because we often think of the visual game of photography and the compositional elements that make a picture. We often think about how we see the world, but we don't necessarily pay too much attention to the physicality of what it means to be a photographer. And so because of that, I tend to highlight the physicality of photography at the forefront. I think that the more you focus on your vitality, the more that you increase your strength each and every day, ultimately, the better your photography will become. And it's the similar idea of weightlifting and compounding over time with the increase in resistance, the increase in the weight that you lift. You know, the more you go out there and put in the reps with your photography and the more photographs that you make, ultimately, the more you chip away at this thing, the stronger you will become as a photographer. It's very correlated. And I find that the more I focus on vitality in life in general, everything else kind of just falls into place. For instance, if I wake up in the morning and I feel weak and tired and I don't have a clean connection or a clear connection between my mind and my body, I'm not going to be able to go out there and make more photographs. You know, if I'm spending all night drinking alcohol, smoking drugs, and drinking and whatever, just eating junk food, eating whatever, I'm going to wake up the next morning and have diarrhea and have a headache, and I'm not going to feel good. And when you don't feel good, you're not going to make good pictures, right? And I think that a weak photographer will make weak photographs, frankly. I think that a weak person will have weak thoughts as well. But I think somebody who is strong will ultimately have strong thoughts or have more joyous thoughts, right? I think the stronger you become, the more joyous you are, right? The weaker you are, the more depressed you are. I mean, just think of the defeat you feel if you cannot lift your body weight up on a pull-up bar, or you're not able to do 100 push-ups, right? You're gonna feel more depressed. You know, as a man, it's really easy to overcome depression. It's through movement, it's through being in this very physical state of being. And that's why photography provides bliss in my life, because of the physicality of the medium, because it requires me to go out there and to march up mountains and to walk endlessly. And yeah, I think that is something important to remember. As photographers, we must use our body as the vehicle, right? We can't rely on anything else but ourselves. And you know, how far can your body take you in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in a lifetime? You know, for me, that's the ultimate goal, is to walk more. And in order to walk more, I must increase my strength. I must have strong legs. I must have a strong core, a strong foundation. And so that's why when I wake up in the morning, I'm always eager to get my body moving. I'm always, you know, I have a standing desk here. So if I'm doing any sort of like culling or whatever at the computer, I've got the standing desk set up so I don't have to sit down. You know, I'm always on the go. And, you know, maybe the idea of cultivating vitality is one of the most important factors as a photographer, because the stronger you become and the more vital you are, the more metabolically healthy you are on the physiological level, the more curious, the more joyous you will be. And isn't that such a beautiful thing? You know, I do believe that when you cultivate strength as your foundation, when you lift more weights, when you are more physical, you will feel happier. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the happier photographer will make happier photographs, will make more joyous and uplifting photographs. You know, we'll get closer to humanity. We'll get out there in the world more. And that's the goal. You know, the goal is to increase your curiosity by 1% each day. And in order to reach this goal, in order to become more curious, you must have a strong foundation. You must be a strong person at the forefront. And then everything else will fall into place. And this is something that I've carried on throughout all of my journey, no matter where I am in the world. You know, even in the remote village, I didn't use that as an excuse. I threw my gymnastic rings up in the morning on a tree, and I did pull-ups, and I had a full body routine with a group of guys that would come over, and we would all sort of work together. And I was this leader amongst the group, teaching people how to do weightlifting and training. And this is something really important to me. You know, no matter where I am, you know, I always make sure to put effort in physically before I go out there and make pictures. And look, again, this isn't some tried and true philosophy, but I believe that there is something to be said here. I think that this can hopefully motivate or inspire somebody to also think more critically about vitality and why this matters. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, he who walks the most shall win. The stronger photographer will make stronger photographs. Oh, what's the most ideal male physique? Yeah, maybe the ideal male physique is The Flagellation of Christ by Caravaggio. Jesus was jacked.